Hey everyone, my name is Tiffany Tate and I am a junior at Washington Adventist University. My major is Health Fitness Management. For my performance skill project, I chose to talk about how to correctly shoot a free throw. A free throw, also known as a foul shot, is done 15 feet away from the basket and happens when an offensive player is fouled by a defensive player in the act of shooting. Generally, 2 shots are given to the player when he or she is fouled in the act of shooting. 3 shots are given in the case of a 3-point shot. It is important to practice the correct form when shooting a free throw and adjusting it slightly to make the shot more comfortable for you. Shooting free throws is a fundamental skill that every player should know how to do. In this video, I will discuss the 7 basic steps of the proper form when shooting a free throw. The first step in shooting a free throw is making sure your feet are behind the free throw line and one foot is slightly in front of the other. The second step in shooting a free throw is getting comfortable. This could include deep breathing or bending your knees or bouncing the ball a couple of times. The third step is placing your fingers on the basketball in a comfortable position. A small tip is placing the fingertip of your middle finger on one of the seams of the basketball. The fourth step is bending your knees. Make sure to bend your knees to get power behind your shot while your back is straight. The fifth step is raising the basketball up to the proper shooting position. Make sure your elbow is at a 90-degree angle by placing your dominant hand directly under the basketball while your non-dominant hand is at the side of the basketball as a guide. The sixth step is keeping your eyes on the back of the rim. And the last and final step is to follow through with your shot in one motion, simultaneously straightening your legs, extending your shooting arm, while flicking your wrist with your fingers forward as you release the ball. Open skill is a skill that takes place in a changing environment. Imagine being in the game with other players around and the crowd cheering, which are multiple variables that could affect the player's shooting and cause the player to possibly miss. A closed skill is a skill that takes place in a structured and static environment. It is simply when a player is practicing a free throw shot by themselves and is not being affected by the environment. For my pioneer, I chose John Whiting. He talked about how continuous vision of a ball in flight is not necessary in order to support accurate performance. This relates to shooting a free throw because the person doesn't need to keep their eye on the ball in order to make the free throw. When practicing shooting a free throw, there can be a lot of variable error because the ball may hit the rim in various spots on the backboard, but by practicing the right form and aiming for the back of the rim, it can be corrected, thus increasing your free throw percentage. Anticipation is when an individual can predict what is going to happen based on environmental information. When shooting a free throw, you can anticipate where the ball is going to land after you shoot it and possibly catch your own rebound. Long-term memory is where information is held permanently and provides the capability for making movements that have been practiced before. When practicing shooting a free throw, it involves muscle memory. The more sets of free throws you shoot, you are accessing skills from your long-term memory by recalling the right angle, position, and form to create a successful shot. Using your senses play a big part in shooting a free throw. Keeping your eyes focused on the rim and your hands touching or gripping the ball in the appropriate position to shoot your shot. Attention is a limited capacity or set of capacities to process information. It is important to maintain a high level of focus/attention when shooting a free throw, especially in the game when the opposing team or fans are making noise for you to miss it. If you lose attention, it can cause you to miss the rim or make a bad shot. The more you focus on the target, the better your performance will be to execute the perfect shot. Motor equivalence tells us that movements can be done in different ways to perform a certain task. When shooting a free throw, although you should shoot the ball with your dominant hand, while your non-dominant hand acts as a guide, you can also shoot the ball like this. Speed and accuracy trade-off theory involves when the goal is to move the limb as quickly as possible to reach or touch a target with minimal amount of error. When you shoot a free throw, you should always relax and never rush it. Having a consistent launch speed is important. If you release the ball too slowly, the shot will come up short, and if you release it too fast, the shot can be too long and possibly go over the backboard. The player needs to rely on muscle memory to recall the motion of their entire body during release to execute the same speed, which will increase their accuracy. Coordination is when two or more body parts are used to perform different actions. Having coordination is important because the person shooting must have control over the multiple joints and body parts in order to perform an accurate and stable free throw using all parts to form one motion. Having the right balance and synchronization to follow through when shooting a free throw is very important. The law of practice states, the more you practice, the more efficient you will be when performing a skill. The repetition of practicing free throw shooting is very important because it helps to build muscle memory, which you can rely on later. In conclusion, shooting a free throw is a fundamental skill when playing basketball. Practicing shooting free throws is a repetitive process, so it is important to use the correct form over and over again to make your shot more efficient. Free throw shooting is an easy way to earn points in a game, especially because your shot is not contested. Thank you, and keep practicing.